You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by our friends Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff.
Yes, I am.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Hi.
You know, every time we start the show, I try to figure out how I'm going to make you understand Dr. Bonati's worth. He started off in traditional spine surgery, and he saw that the results weren't good for the patients. He did the traditional procedures, and they'd all pat themselves on the back saying what a great job the surgery was, but it wasn't for the patient. It wasn't yielding the type of results that the patients would need to say it was successful. And he became disheartened, and he left spine surgery. And he studied at Wake Forest University arthroscopy of all the different joints. And he was instrumental in shoulder surgery, knee surgery, ankles. Well, all of a sudden, one day, boom, it came to him how to access the spine. And that's how the Bonati Spine procedures became patented and exclusive methods for the Bonati Spine Institute, which yield patient-reported success of 98.75%, and that's based on a 10-year study. It's just astounding. So if you're being told nothing can be done, reach out to Bonati at 855-267-0483. But coming up...
Oh. There we
In
go.
I know,
today's
I changed
Back
it
to
up
Life
a bit.
segment,
Little
we will
bit.
talk to a
Yeah, sorry.
patient of the
Keeping me
Bonati
on my
Spine
toes,
Institute
Kimberly.
who went from
Which
living a life
clearly
that
I'm
was
not.
restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
I wanted to let Zach Allen of Atlanta, Georgia, share his story. Why don't you tell us how you came to be in pain, and thank you for joining us on the program, Zach.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
How did you come to be in pain? Why don't you tell us your story?
It started out around about 19 plus years ago when I was in my 20s. My goal was to be a bodybuilder, and I was squatting 405 pounds. I used to do it, quite often.
Right.
And one day I just happened to come up wrong. I come up bending forward instead of squatting straight up,
Right.
and I felt something pop.
Yeah.
And from that day forward, my spine has not been the same since. It just got worse and worse and worse, and that's how it actually started.
Right.
We've had quite a few bodybuilders as of
Yes.
late. Like in the past month or two, it seems like we've had 3 or 4 people who
Right.
were just, lifting all this crazy amounts of weight and popping things out of their back.
Well, if you're lifting 400 or 500 pounds, you're probably putting a lot of strain
Absolutely.
on your muscles, your spine, your joints.
So, Zach, how did that pain affect your daily life?
As I was saying, it just, as the years went by, it just got worse and worse, and to the point where it was almost crippling to me. I couldn't do any kind of daily activities. I couldn't do any sports, like the average guy play basketball or baseball or any kind of movement, sport, so I was just bound to just nothing really. I couldn't do anything.
Is it safe to say you were watching other people live their lives and you were kind of on the sidelines?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So can you explain your pain? Was it localized? Did it shoot? Can you describe that for people that are listening?
Yes, my pain was locally in my, in my lower back, went down to my legs. If it flares up, if I happen to do anything wrong or move any kind of way wrong, it may flare up, and pain ran down my legs, so just, I went from excruciating to just like pins and needle pains, just it's just constant pain for every day.
Yeah, it
Every
sounds
day of my life, just
sounds
pain.
debilitating.
Zach, did you seek out help, or did you do like most of us guys and just suck it up and, little Advil, little Tylenol, little Aleve, whatever you could find?
Mm-hmm.
No, I sought everything known to man. Within those years, I tried VaxD, which is spinal decompression. I tried nerve injections,
Wow.
trigger points injections, epidural, chiropractors,
Right.
TENS units, you name it, I tried it. So just a lot of just trying this, that, and other, and just nothing worked. Nothing worked.
How is that affecting your ability to function every day?
I just had to learn how to live with the pain and just do everything, at a minimum. So I just learned to live with it.
What about trying to even just get yourself dressed in the morning? Did it affect you then?
Yes, as I was saying, sometimes it flares up.
Mm-hmm.
So getting dressed was, excruciating, especially when I was single and
Right.
didn't have any help. It took probably 20 minutes to put my socks and shoes on.
Right.
That had to put a little
and
damper
get
on a
dressed.
single man life.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So how was it you exhausted conservative type methods to no avail? How did you come across the Bonati Spine Institute?
One day on the computer, just constant research.
Mm-hmm.
I ran across that the place, and the reviews was through the roof. I saw the videos of the patients, the before and after, and
Sure.
the reviews was great, and Bonati, he done a lot of wonderful things, helping people get back their, life back. And I said, well, I researched with him maybe about 2 months, back and forth, just trying to, kind of weigh it out.
Right. And what was the final tipping point? Did you just decide to pick up the phone and give a call, or?
Yeah, I was just tired of dealing with it. I said, well, this is one last try.
Sure.
I'm going to try this. If this don't work, then I guess I just have to die with the pain, I guess.
So you travel to Florida. You walk in. Were you apprehensive at all? And describe that evaluation process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You still be kind of skeptical. You walk in and people was very nice.
Yes.
The whole staff was very nice and inviting and pleasant, and but you still be kind of skeptical.
Right. Because it's your spine. Nobody wants spine surgery. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there you are in the evaluation room. The doctor comes in. He has your scans. He takes a look at you. Do you have to really tell the doctor where your pain is, or does he seem to know?
No, he kind of looks at that the MRI that I have.
Sure.
And he can see the areas that's being compressed. My L4, L5 is being compressed, and my S1. And he would say, your pain is running along your right side on the buttocks down your leg. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly where it's at. So he was looking at the MRI and telling me exactly what was really going on with it.
Right. When you had surgery, they always tell you about the conscious IV sedation, and I know it can affect people differently. People react to different types of sedations, but they leave you lucid enough to where you're able to interact at times to let them know if that's the pain that you're feeling. What was that like for you? Did you know why that was a benefit?
Well, yeah, I guess they put me to sleep, and then they woke me up, and they said, I communicated with them, and then they put you back to sleep. But I don't remember it. But they said, I talked with them and told them where the pain was, and they corrected that. And but it's still a blur to me. I don't remember it. So.
Did you at all look at the screen?
No, I didn't want to see nothing.
You didn't want to see. Okay.
Understandable.
Well, I remember I watched mine, so I'm always interested to know from the patients what they think. So when did you notice a relief of the pain that brought you in? Because they target spots incrementally. So if you come in and there's a couple different areas, it will target that first area of pain and then the next. So for you, when did you start to feel relief?
The first surgery was last Wednesday.
Okay.
And they told me exactly what was going to happen. I had my L4 worked on.
Sure.
And they said immediately after that L4 is worked on, then your L5 and your S1 is going to get the screaming.
Right.
So they was dead on the money with that, and it was excruciating after that, and I didn't have any relief until my second surgery, which was Monday past.
Okay.
And that's when I got relief from it, and I still feel good. It's just the pain that they
the surgery site
actually went in.
Correct.
And after that kind of wears off, then I should be good. Should be good to go.
See, that's what they do. And you always have surgery site pain because even though it's targeted precision procedures, what they do is you always have that incision. So you had surgery, but how are you feeling?
I feel pretty good right now. It's just that little area where they actually went in.
Yep.
It's still a little painful, but, other than that, I'm okay.
And no more screaming, excruciating pain like you had.
No.
And you're way better than when you first came in?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good to hear.
Great. And if you saw somebody just like you that was suffering the way that you did, would you, based on your results, feel good enough to send them to the Bonati Spine Institute?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Excellent.
And I remember when I talked to you, you were so excited to see Dr. Bonati. You pulled him aside to take some photos.
Yeah, I ran out there. I saw him drive past. I'm like, oh, that's my buddy right there. Let's go catch him.
Aw. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Zach, to share your story of recovery. And again, keep us updated because we always love to see our patients regain their strength and get back in motion.
Thanks, Zach.
Well, okay, well, thank y'all.
You guys have
Take
a good
care.
day. All right.
Continue
Y'all
good health.
too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you or someone you know suffering just like Zach did, reach out to Bonati at Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, we have a Trump delegate that's going to be on to share their thoughts and opinions. Make sure you stay tuned. You're listening to American Medicine Today. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free. which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by my right hand, Ethan Euchre.
Even though I'm to your left.
That's true.
But I am here.
Yes. And the other gentleman to my right, so he would be what, my left hand? That would be
like
Jeff Wagstaff.
Unless you're looking in a mirror.
And the one is on your back?
And that would be world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Oh, boy.
Well, it's exciting because the presidential election continues to heat up. And joining us right now is Jeff Cruer, author of America's Last Chance, a book that's being called a must-read guide for the 2016 election. And he's also a Trump delegate from Louisiana and the state co-chair for the Louisiana Trump campaign. Thank you so much for joining us on the program, Jeff.
Well, thanks for having me. And today's a pretty big day in Louisiana because Donald Trump is down here surveying all the flood damage that we had here after the great storm, which occurred last week and flooded 40,000 people. So we're very thankful that he came to Louisiana to survey the damage.
Wow. So he came to survey, but I don't think Obama did. Am I
You know,
correct?
I was actually, Jeff, and you can, reiterate this as well. I had that thought this morning because I saw on the news. Remember back when Katrina hit?
Yeah, when Bush, they attacked Bush like crazy.
Kanye West was on TV saying George Bush doesn't care about black people. And then on the news this morning, they were saying that Obama's on vacation.
Right, he's playing golf.
And hasn't, even stopped by, but nobody's saying anything about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's Kanye and the Kardashians now?
Exactly. Your thoughts on that, Jeff?
Well, and that's a very good point because I lived through both of these storms, and Katrina Bush was really criticized by everyone because of the delayed response. And the argument back then was, well, we didn't want to take away resources to have the president come, but people were saying, well, he still needed to come. Well, now the governor, who's a Democrat, is saying, well, I told President Obama not to come because we didn't want to divert resources to showing the president around and all the security and closing the highways. But I still think having a president come down would be worth the diversion of resources and the big hoopla that we would go through to have him down there because it would bring a lot of attention to the area. We already have seen that the storm is now not in the headlines anymore.
Right.
And there's so many people that are hurting that it really would have been helpful, but he chose not to come. And Hillary hasn't been here, so lo and behold, Donald Trump.
Yeah, but why
we appreciate it. We really do.
Why you want that he will come? He's in vacation, man.
Obama.
Yeah. Don't interrupt Obama. He's in vacation.
But Jeff, that's a testament to Donald Trump and how he internalizes these disasters and how he really wants to reach out and help.
Well, you're right, and he really spoke movingly the day before about the people here, and I think you could see his concern. He seemed very genuine, and again, I haven't seen that from Hillary or President Obama. Right. And let's face it, Louisiana is a red state. He doesn't need to come here. He's going to win this state.
Right.
But he's coming down anyway because he's really concerned about the victims, and I think he wants to show that that's the type of president he will be. And I was just very impressed that he took time to come along with Mike Pence, and they're going to be here for another few hours before they're moving on to other activities. But I think it really sent the right message about what type of president he would be.
Well, with all due respect to you, Jeff, and my colleagues here on the show, I think you guys are being unfair to Obama. He will be in Louisiana just as soon as the golf courses reopen.
That's a good point. See, and Trump would have just built a wall to keep the rain out. That's what I think
there you go.
would have happened. Yeah.
Let's not forget that the former president, George Bush, played like 24 rounds of golf, and now Obama is on, like, I think, number 310 rounds of golf. I mean, it's mind-boggling how much golf he's played as president.
On the taxpayer's dollar.
Oh, and he's traveling around the world with our taxes.
So tell me something. What do you think are some of the biggest hurdles for Trump in his effort to defeat Hillary?
The media is going to be a big hurdle.
Correct.
The money that Hillary is collecting from all these big Wall Street donors. He's got the never-Trumpers, the people in his party that are out to sabotage him. The establishment, they don't want him because he's going to bring about change. And he is the type of guy who's going to do things differently.
Right.
We haven't been doing well economically. We're certainly not where we need to be militarily. And I think a lot of these insiders don't want to make those kind of changes, and he threatens them.
The Washington
so they're going to try to sabotage him.
The Washington cronies need to hunker down, whatever you want to say, because he is going to kick them all out.
Well, here's what I think, too, Jeff, is how much do you think campaign spending on ads has affected Trump? Because he really, I almost never see a Trump ad spot on TV. You know what I mean? And I see Hillary's constantly because Trump hasn't spent a lot of money on advertising. Right. Do you think that's affected him negatively?
What, though? That could be smart because he's waiting to start advertising later, and he's still not that far behind. And as you say, he hasn't spent a dime.
It was announced.
It
was announced today in
Battleground. I think today. Yeah, just started. Right.
$6 million for battleground states.
That's right.
Wow.
But that's nothing compared to Hillary. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what Hillary's spending.
Well, looking at additional challenges that Mr. Trump may face as we move closer to the general election, I think it's fair to point out, for the most part, this show is very much a supporter of Donald Trump and his policies, but I think Mr. Trump has also somewhat been his own worst enemy, and staying on message will be vital between now and the general election.
Dr. Bonati's going to slap you.
Absolutely. I agree with you more. I think you're right because the message is a winning message. If we could ever talk about the issues, I think he'd win in a landslide. So what they try to do is get the debate away from the issues, and they talk about personalities and controversies and everything else but the issues. And that's what I want him to focus on because he's got a winning message.
Right.
That's what really needs to be the campaign from here on out.
I just don't understand why everyone is so bent out of shape about what Trump says, but they're not totally bent out of shape about what Hillary does
because
and did.
We only get information from the media, and it's very left-leaning. So that's why. Hey, Jeff, we're out of time. We should have you back on, of course, before November. Where can people get your book?
Well, I'd appreciate it very much. They can get it at my website, which is my name, Jeff Crouere, and that's Crouere. And I think it would be a great book to get during this election season because I think this is our last chance to turn around the country.
Certainly is. Thank you so much for joining us. Jeff Crouere, author of America's Last Chance, a book that's being called a must-read guide for the 2016 election. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Coming up after the break, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to talk smart sutures. And gosh, they are amazing.
Everything's smart nowadays. You know, you got your smartphone, smart everything. Now they're making stitches in your body that are smart.
Are they going to make a dummy's guide to the smart suture? Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff, our
Thank
senior
you.
fellow.
Thank you for having me.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
Hi.
Now, we recently read about a new technology called smart sutures. And they're stitches that can monitor the healing process in wounds. And joining us right now are Poria Mustafalu and Samir Sankusali with the Tufts School of Engineering and the developers of Smart Sutures. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So Samir, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. Samir, I'll direct this one towards you. These days, we were saying it before, everything is smart now. You know, your smartphone, your smart TV, this and that. What was the inspiration to make Smart Sutures?
We had a project where we wanted to gather diagnostic information deep inside the tissue, especially in the wounds. And we were looking for sensor platforms that can do that. And so far, if you look at all the sensors we have had access to, they are almost all planar or they're made on two-dimensional hard substrates. So nothing could actually reach deep within the wounds. And so we were looking around for solutions, and surprisingly, threads offer the form, the flexibility to reach deep inside the tissue, and that's where it all started with Korea.
So how do they really work?
So we actually made an entire suite of threads that are smart. So some threads transport fluids from one end to the other because of the natural capillary action the threads have. And some threads are functionalized to detect physical parameters like strain and stress. And some other threads have chemical coating, sensing nano-infused nanomaterials that serve as chemical sensing elements for sensing pH, for sensing glucose. And that's just the beginning. So we essentially created sort of an entire toolkit of thread-based devices. So they can be engineered or connected together in many different ways. What you want to do, it depends on the application itself.
So, Poria, can you tell us who would benefit from smart sutures? Would it be maybe someone that has diabetes?
Yeah, sure. Actually, these thread-based diagnostic devices can be used for many applications. One of these applications can be used for monitoring infection, inflammation in kind of surgical procedure. And they also can be embedded in like a regular bandage for monitoring and stimulation of diabetic chronic wounds.
Okay.
They can also be assembled together to make another smart bandage for monitoring of different vital signals such as glucose, or they could be monitored for like infections, because diabetic wounds are always in risk of infection and they need to be monitored continuously.
Samir, we saw in the research preparing for this segment that the sutures can actually transmit wirelessly to a computer or to a cell phone. So when you use this technology, does the physician who's using it have the ability to kind of constantly monitor the wound, or do you have to be in a certain rate? How does all that work?
So that's a very good question. So that's essentially one of the features of the thread. So we have sensing threads that eventually connect to something conductive threads. And these conductive threads actually are really thin and flexible. We bring them out to a wireless transmitter that could be as small as the size of a button in the future. But for purposes of our demo, we actually made it slightly bigger. But that sits on top of the skin, and then it wirelessly transmits to any smart device like a phone. So we actually had things like pH and glucose wirelessly transmitted to the phone. And once you have it on the phone, you basically have access to the entire internet. So you can have a doctor or caregiver in the loop while they're monitoring what's going on. So you have continuous real-time monitoring of what the threads are saying.
Okay, wait, Jeff, Well, I'm kind of interested, though, because I know there are sutures that get absorbed back in. Don't they disintegrate over time? Is that something that smart sutures do, or do they just remain there forever?
That's a very good question. The threads, so we started off with cotton threads, and they're not supposed to biodegrade over time. So we were looking at something biocompatible, something that will be removed. But, sutures can come in both absorbable and non-absorbable forms. So if you were to make the same suite of sensors on an absorbable suture, then you can envision where once their intended function's over, that the sensors disintegrate. But we did not study that in our study. We did not have that biodegradable sutures in our study. But something that is definitely possible with the same technology platform that we developed.
When you use these sutures, are you using the sutures for extensive wounds, or you're using for secondary healing, or you're using this thing when you have an infection and you want to approximate tissues, and how is the scarring after that? Or you're using the sutures just only for regular incisions in surgery?
We primarily started using the sutures as a wound dressing for diabetic wounds. So they were typically, the threads did not penetrate too deep inside. They essentially were penetrated just underneath the skin layer, and to extract interstitial fluid to bring them out to the bandage that had all the necessary electronics on it. So our function was mostly to monitor diabetic wounds, and we tested them on the rat model to see if the wounds are healing, and that's the application domain we targeted when we studied this.
Okay, then you are not really using this for a regular type of incisions.
Regular type of incisions that doctors make. No, we haven't tried that. No.
Okay.
And Poria,
we monitor the wound closure by using the strength sensor that we developed using these sutures. So we had the stretchable suture. We stitch the wound, and we monitor the wound closure over time and see how wound monitors over how wound heal over time, actually.
Then you're trying to do an approximation of a secondary intention healing, or you are just trying to monitor the edges of the incision?
That's what we have done currently, but we are looking for many other markers to monitor the primary marker as well for like an infection. But currently we are just monitoring overall the status of the wound and parameters such as like a pH or wound closure. We monitor this kind of parameters currently, but it could be easily adjusted to monitor the other markers, which is.
So when you have that information, is that information to be able to change the treatment of the wound, to put different type of antibiotics, different type of management of the wound? That's how you are going to, once you monitor, that's the idea.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Based on we can detect the wound if it is for the infected wound is in a healing condition or in non-healing condition. Okay. One of the aspects that this thread-based technology giving us is, for example, it's a time we can save the nursing time for if it is going to be used as a part of the smart bandage. So it's a time to change the bandage or not. So that's the one of the other things that it could provide if it's going to be as a part of the bandage. But if it's going to be used as a suture, definitely it can be incorporated with treatment technology to provide a specific drug if it's required.
Okay, that's really what they're telling you. The suture will tell you if that area has a necrotic tissue that is not going to heal, so you can change the treatment or because the information that you have, and then you can debride the wound so you can get secondary intention in that area. That's what you're saying, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gentlemen, this technology is so cutting edge. As you're doing your current testing, you have to be thinking in terms of what's next or other applications. What other applications do you see this technology may be helpful in?
Who wants to answer that?
Definitely. Puriya also just mentioned that we are looking at both near term and far term, and the near term is threads naturally can be embedded into textiles or bandages so that they don't have to embed tissue. So you have more near term applications as wearable diagnostic devices. But for more far term, we definitely have to evaluate long-term biocompatibility and perform clinical trials and so on before we start seeing these threads as part of real surgical sutures that are used. And then, so we are looking at not just surgical sutures, but also as a way to monitor implants. You can have these threads sutured along with the implant so that you can monitor whether the tissue next to the implant is scarring or if there is any inflammation or if something is going wrong. And so there are many possible applications for these kind of threads, but it depends on whether you're implanting it in deep inside the body or you're planning to wear it on the body.
Just quickly, we're almost out of time, but I know you've been testing this on rats. When will human trials begin?
So that, we haven't really planned human trials as of yet, but we are looking into it. Within a year or two, yes. Okay,
so in the next couple of years. Well, that about wraps things up for this segment. Thank you so much, Samir San Kusali and Puriya Mustafoglu from Tufts School of Engineering and the developers of Smart Sutures. This sounds like amazing technology. Thank you so much for being on American Medicine today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Take care.
Tough names to pronounce.
I know. I have my little pronunciation sheet.
You did a good job, Kimberly.
Well, make sure you stay tuned because coming up after the break, you'll hear what's new in American Medicine today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can go
garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You are listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Happy to be here.
Jeff Wagstaff.
Thank you for having me.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
Hello.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Okay, Doc, it's all you. It is time to talk about that free market approach to healthcare.
Well, United States, we always say that the healthcare in the United States is free healthcare. Mm-hmm. That's a lie.
Right.
It's not anymore a free healthcare.
Right.
The governmental intrusion through all these years from the 60s till now, create practically a dependency of individuals being under care of the healthcare. Now,
you mean government healthcare?
The government hold hostage the healthcare for decades.
Correct.
And you need to understand that is probably an enormous sector of our economy, and is very regulated. Mm-hmm. Now, when you regulate something, and if it is a governmental type of a regulation, everything becomes several times more expensive than if it will be only managed by individuals on the market. Mm-hmm. Now, imagine the regulations that they are placed to the hospitals. There are 296 organizations that they regulate hospitals. So these hospitals practically, they are so tied up that they cannot perform anything. And not only they cannot perform anything, also they are being underpaid. Okay. So we have hospitals in a horrendous bad situation in the country, only because the government put their paws on it. Together with these regulations, we have 100 specialty groups that they also have voice and vote and create more regulations. And then we have 25 specialty boards that now try to regulate doctors and try to regulate how the things are going to be performed in specialties. So when you see all this garbage together, no wonder the healthcare is so expensive. Now, to create a free healthcare, what you need to do is you need to educate the people to have an individual freedom and a personal responsibility
When
to
you
healthcare.
talk, and it's confusing because I think I understand what you're saying, but when you say free, you're not meaning free and the government subsidizes. You're meaning free enterprise, free market.
I'm talking about the free market. I'm
Correct.
talking about.
Okay.
I'm
I
talking
just
about.
want to clarify.
I'm talking about business.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
When you have a free business,
Yes.
eliminating all these regulations and all
Correct.
these systems that they are totally. Not only they tied up the business, but at the same time, the ones that they receive a bad care are the individuals that they need the health care.
Dr. Bonati, looking at the research before we did this segment, the thing that really struck me as unbelievable is we are so bound by regulations that 25% of the total cost of healthcare is administrative. And that seems high. It's the highest in the world.
Yeah, but you're talking about the administration.
Right.
Like everything that is practically created by bureaucracy is paying people to do nothing.
Yes.
Okay. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to pay people to do something. And when you create bundle of paperwork and regulations, then you have people that the only thing that they do is work with paper, and the results of that one means delay in time, and that means also delay in health, and some people are going to die. Very clear example of this is the service that you have on the Veterans Administration. That is exactly a health care that is what the government is proposing today with through Hillary Clinton ideas of healthcare.
Well, Doc, we've also, Kimberly and I especially, some of these on-site shoots that we've done with different physicians for the television version of American Medicine Today, we've had several of them. They have small practices tell us that a great share of their day is tied up in doing paperwork and haggling with the insurance companies and fighting with them. So that's why a lot of these doctors have to hire people to be administrators, and that's why the cost is so darn high for administrative people, because the doctors need to be treating patients, not screwing around with paperwork.
Right.
all
But
day.
it could be cured though if they just didn't take any of those government funded plans.
Well, if the system, we need to. I propose certain types of solutions, and the solutions are very simple. When I remember when I came out from the hospital and I say I am going to do surgery in an ambulatory center, everybody thought I was absolutely crazy. Okay, and they say you're not going to be able to do it. You don't have the support. You don't have the technology available. You say my technology will be superior. My support will be superior. My people will work for the patient instead to be working for an entity that has nothing to do with the patient.
Right.
So I accomplished that. And I really think this is the way that we need to approach the healthcare. The healthcare needs to be approached totally independent. The individual needs to go to the doctor and pay cash or checks to the doctor on the spot. When you do that, the doctor is not going to hire people to fight with the insurance companies. So we'll immediately
lower the price.
I cannot believe that in my system, I need to have around probably 30% of my population is population employee that needs to fight with insurance companies to make the system work.
Correct.
So if I remove that one, who's going to be the benefit? Who is going to be the beneficiary of that situation?
The patient.
The patient. Because my prices are going to come down.
Right.
At the same time, the patients, they need to be controlling the healthcare by themselves. And how you do with that one is you say, the control of that one is going to also create competition, and it's going to create wealth, and it's going to create a situation where the patients are going to command a healthcare responsible. And today we have an irresponsible healthcare and a disaster national healthcare.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonati, MD.
Make sure you tweet at Dr. Bonati using AMT or hashtag American Medicine Today. Like us on Facebook, check us out on Bloomberg, and watch us here in Tampa, WFTS, and KTNV in Las Vegas, and coming soon to Arizona. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati Spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati Spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.